How would you like to dramatically increase your productivity, supercharge your energy levels, and produce highly sustainable focus every single day? Performing at a high level is an inherently difficult thing to do by its very nature, especially for the prolonged periods of time that it takes to become successful in business, and it requires you to be in an optimal state of health to be able to perform at this level frequently and meet the inevitable daily challenges. A good starting point to understand what we're going to talk about here is to use the metaphor of a high-performance racing car. In order to perform effectively, it needs things like premium fuel, high-quality tyres, and a special kind of servicing. And that's because the demands that are placed on it are far more extreme than that of a regular vehicle. Now, although that's obvious when we're talking about a car, people with demanding lifestyles such as entrepreneurs and CEOs often fail to take this kind of care when it comes to looking after the vehicle that is responsible for running their business. That vehicle is themselves. When most people in these positions want to drive to their desired destination, they neglect their vehicle, and the likelihood of moving forward effectively is often unpredictable and unnecessarily stressful upon the engine. And if this behaviour is persisted in for a prolonged period, then it can result in the worst possible outcome. That outcome is burnout to such a level that they become simply unable to meet their daily requirements, resulting in loss of control in their business. Now, for the majority of business owners, their days normally consist of sluggishly dragging their cluttered vehicle out of the garage for yet another long day on the road. At the back of their mind is the nagging hum of anxiety that tells them they must reach their destination today, with the looming consequence that if they don't keep driving hard, then the control of what happens in their business is going to rapidly slip through their fingers. As they begin to fight off the fatigue of a poor night's rest with larger amounts of stimulants, they press down on the accelerator pedal and the car monotonously grumbles out of the driveway, in no condition for the journey that it's about to undertake. However, it's forced upon it regardless. They're faced with conflicting emotions, understanding at one level that this reactive way of living is certainly not sustainable, yet feeling they have no other choice because if they aren't able to meet the demands of the day, then who will? The journey to becoming successful in business can be a relentless and unforgiving battlefield, and only those with a set of strategic daily practices focused in key areas of nutrition, physical and mental health, combined with the knowledge of how they work with one another synergistically to prime them with high levels of physical energy and mental clarity, can confidently state they're ready for war and in control. Hey, my name is Grant Stevens, and in the next few minutes I'm going to show you how adopting a system of scientifically backed habits to optimize your health massively boosts productivity and ability to focus while working. And I'm also going to share with you, number 1, the biggest misconceptions most people have about how a killer entrepreneur operates. Number 2, the high performance traits of elite business people that are leading the way. And number 3, the system of habits to increase productivity, mental cognition, and how you can begin putting them to work in your life right away. Over a decade of research and experimentation has gone into finding the most simple, easy to implement, but devastatingly effective ways to help those who are ruthlessly committed to 2 things. Number 1, constant improvement. Doing whatever it takes to constantly improve themselves and become more and more effective. And number 2, getting the most bang for their buck in terms of quality of work, over working inefficiently for extended periods of time as most other people are doing. So if you're somebody that's looking to maximize your performance potential, but not only that, understand the psychology and tools needed to make the positive habits take root permanently, then you're definitely in the right place and you're going to love what I'm about to share with you. Now, the best thing about this system is that it's tailored to your unique lifestyle. So rather than supplying a set of generic instructions that require complicated and timely implementation, all of the complexity is handled and designed specifically for the needs of the time-pressed entrepreneur. It's a complete formula for change. Most coaches in this arena typically offer only 1 or 2 pieces of the puzzle and leave out vital components, which overwhelmingly leads to only temporary improvement and regression to the mean. And it's all backed by scientific, evidence-based research. Each component has been included based on the largest amount of evidence to support its positive effect on our Polaris star, which is improving productivity, focus and energy. Now, in business, people tend to fall into one of 2 categories: the strugglers, those for whom it feels like an endless uphill battle. The only way they know to be productive is to sleep less and take stimulants to try to get more done in a day. The results are overwhelmingly substandard whether they know it or not, and their personal life? Well, what personal life? And the killers, the people who are crushing it in business and life. They're focused, consistently perform at a high level, and are having a great time doing it. What is it that makes some entrepreneurs seem to be able to get more done in less time and handle their demands with a graceful poise, while others are struggling to get through the day, foggy-headed and on the fast track to mental health problems? After talking to hundreds of business owners and researching the habits of some of the highest achieving entrepreneurs on the planet, it's obvious that there are 4 key areas of attention that are directly correlated to performance, and the killers diligently strive for excellence in all of these areas daily, while the strugglers may only pay attention to one of these, or sometimes none. And the truth is that having these things in place in your life, it becomes very easy to demand far more of yourself on a regular basis without suffering the inevitable downsides that come through force and shortcuts. Having these wellness practices in place acts as a deadly set of force multipliers in your life that act together synergistically towards a desired outcome. A force multiplier is a tool that helps you amplify your effort to produce more output. Such tools are essential because they multiply the effect of force, thought, or attention, and the more a tool amplifies or concentrates this effort, the more effective it is. A hammer is an example of a force multiplier. If you try hitting a nail with your bare hands, then you'll be able to exert some force, but it won't be enough to drive the nail into something solid. Using a hammer multiplies the magnitude of force you're exerting and concentrates it into a small area, making it easy to drive the nail. The most effective tools amplify effort to the greatest magnitude. As an example, an electric drill is far more effective at multiplying force than a hand drill is. The problem that most people face in business is that they are living reactively, and instead of taking a step back, assessing their situation from a high-level view to see what needs attention, they choose to move in the opposite direction and try to hustle even harder. And this leads them to look for tactics and gimmicks to get around unsustainable habits, which is like the equivalent of applying a bandage to a broken leg, which is not only quite a foolish practice, but also a dangerous one. So let's stop for a minute and think about this clearly, because what I'm about to tell you next contradicts what your competitors and most of the world is telling you. And that's that you need to slow down in order to speed up. And it sounds totally counterintuitive on a surface level, but let's talk about it a little further. So what do I mean by this? Well, in order to get some context, we need to look at feedback loops, or what's sometimes called a self-fulfilling prophecy. A simple definition is when the outputs of a system are routed back as inputs, becoming part of a chain of cause and effect that forms a circuit or loop. So the decision at stage 1 leads to an action, which causes a reaction, which then influences the next decision made. And as you can see there, the circuit completes itself. So in our case, this is what's happening. Our person is under stress. He's so busy, but doesn't feel like he has enough time in a day to get everything done. So in order to combat this, he decides to perhaps sleep less or opt for fast food in order to attempt to save some time. Now the reaction to this action is that he becomes irritable and can't focus properly and feels sluggish because he's neglecting his health. Now because of that, the efficiency of his work begins to decline, and the work actually ends up taking longer because of his poor focus, which results in getting less done in more time than ever before. What we're seeing here is a negative feedback loop occurring. The individual is self-creating the very situation they're trying to misguidedly avoid in the first place through their present and reactive behaviour to the previous stage of the loop. What's worse is that unless they intercept this pattern and change it, then it will continue to feed upon itself indefinitely, wreaking havoc in their life and sending them further and further down. Now remember how I told you that the entrepreneurs who are killing it have 2 things in place that the others who are endlessly struggling don't. Those 2 fundamental things are, number 1, a clear understanding of the critically important relationship between self-care and its effects on mental performance. And number 2, a daily religious practice of the correct set of behaviours to produce that level of performance going into their day. Because it comes down to this: if you're living in reaction with little to no control, then those aspects are going to absolutely reflect within your business. So let's get down to it and talk about exactly how you can get a set of healthy habits for improving your productivity and vitality in your life, starting today. Now there's only 2 things that really matter in terms of becoming successfully productive in business. Number 1 is having a clear head and being able to concentrate on a single task over the long term until it's done. And number 2 is being relentlessly disciplined at policing yourself away from distractions. And if you're not hitting that level of potential that you intuitively know is within you somewhere, or you're dramatically inconsistent with your levels of focus, then let me ask you this question. What daily actions are you taking towards the goal of improving your body and mind? You see, the reality is that 99% of the time people don't have a business problem. They have a personal problem that reflects within their business. And if they aren't committed in one area, then you can bet that that non-commitment will be showing up in other areas of their life also. The killers and the superstar business people certainly have different ideas about business, but they're in unanimous agreement on one thing, and that's to be your best self in business. Success and wellness are one and the same and cannot be categorized separately. If you want to be a winner in life, then you must commit to excellence in every facet of your existence. The daily habits that are conducive to productivity, high energy and mental clarity are the most important investment that you can make in your business. While the strugglers are constantly on the back foot, apprehensive about which will give out first, their body or their business, the killers have a vibrancy for life that grants them the ability to not only work to unprecedented levels, but actually enjoy the success that they have created with their friends and loved ones. So what does this system look like? Well, it starts with consistently practicing a set of habits that work together synergistically towards the goal of maximising the potential of the entrepreneur. This is commonly done first thing in the morning to give the best possible mental and energetic advantage going into the day. And the result of executing on these effectively is that you'll gain a multitude of benefits that all play a crucial part in improved performance in business. Some of these are as follows: lower stress levels, improved mental cognition, higher energy levels, and greater confidence. And that's not even mentioning the byproducts of improved longevity, greater immunity to illnesses, and more enjoyment of your life. Now, to make this work correctly for you, you need these things in alignment, which I refer to as the 4 pillars of high performance. And these are as follows: sleep, nutrition, movement, and psychology. Sleep, essential rest and recovery. It goes without saying that sleep is perhaps the most important of these needs. If you're starting your days from a poor night's rest, everything thereafter is going to be compromised by default. You can give yourself a huge advantage by simply setting your circadian rhythm to sleep and wake up at the same time every day. Nutrition. Quality fuel burns a clean flame. Eating nutrient-dense foods that are as close to their natural source as possible provides low stress to the digestive system. This means that the body's resources aren't being used on breaking down poor quality food, and energy levels stay elevated throughout the day. Movement. The brain is a muscle, and like all muscles, it grows with activity and atrophies with inactivity. However, not all activity is equal. Studies show training that combines an elevated heart rate with learning a coordination skill lights up more brain receptors than conventional exercise does. This leads to a greater expression of the powerful hormone BDNF, which promotes neurogenesis. Psychology, the science of behaviour and the mind. It's not enough just to try to adopt some new behaviours. Attempting this using willpower alone is like stretching an elastic band. Eventually, it's going to snap back and hurt your hand, or just break altogether. You must transform into a new character, your best self, one that not only practices these good habits but has them as irrefutable standards. And this is the key to real change. Now, in those categories, you have to have the right type and combination of actions for the optimal outcome. And you can do it the hard way, which is like attempting to drive your car to a new destination without a roadmap. You can try things out like taking random turns and taking a guess at where you're going, or you could even try and follow the stars and maybe you'll eventually reach the destination. But most likely, never. Or you can do it the easy way and just get a GPS system that not only tells you where you want to go, but also tells you exactly what actions to take at each stage of the journey and will course correct you if you make a wrong turn. Well, by now you're probably thinking, how can I get a system in place like this to drastically boost my energy levels and create sustainable focus and productivity? Well, this is perfect if you're looking to get more done in less time, work in a flow state more easily, have greater optimism, strengthen your self-discipline, and get an edge over your competition. Because right now I'm looking for my dream clients. People who I can help get the kinds of results that I've shared with you. That's why for a limited time I'd like to work with you in a health optimization strategy session if you meet the following criteria. You see, I work with 3 kinds of people. Those who understand that yes, success requires working long hours but don't want to rely on unhealthy coping mechanisms to get it done. People who want to dramatically improve their mental cognition to become much more effective during those hours that they work. And people who wish to improve their overall quality of life so that they can fully appreciate the success that they're working so hard for. We'll be focused on a custom-tailored strategy to help you solve the biggest problems that most entrepreneurs are facing in the areas of their health, which is committing the time necessary during a busy day to the practices that are essential to long-term and sustained high performance, and navigating the endless and conflicting information available to know exactly how they should be optimizing in those areas for their unique lifestyle and goals. This session will take around 30 minutes and you'll be speaking with me personally. I'll be helping you identify what's currently working for you and what's not, then helping you put together a personal strategy to dramatically improve your productivity and energy levels without having to increase the amount of time that you're spending in your business. So who is this for? This is for entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, and CEOs, people who are in positions where high performance is a daily requirement. Typically, they're working long hours and are responsible for a lot of moving parts, whether they're a solopreneur or they're managing a team of people. This is for people who know they're good at what they do and understand that to get an edge and make themselves exponentially more effective, they need to have superior health. It's for those who are willing to have some skin in the game and understand that which they put into their self-improvement is going to ultimately determine their results. And it's also for people who truly believe in what they provide and want to be of as great a service as possible in their market. Working with me will require your commitment, as I will not be able to get you the results unless you are committed to change and improvement. But I promise if you are, then you will see massive benefits. So who is this not for? It's not for people who want something for nothing and are looking for quick fixes. Those who complain and make excuses about why they're unable to change, and people who are stuck in their ways and not prepared to make new actions to get a new result, and anyone not serious about creating positive lifestyle habits to exponentially improve all areas of their lives. Now, knowing we're a good fit is crucial because I like to get all of my clients' results and work with them to implement these strategies long term, and to do that I need to get them tangible results quickly. And the truth is that there are some people who I can't help, and if that's the case, I'll be 100% upfront with you and suggest somebody else or an alternative. I'm only looking for those who are a good fit and that I'm certain I can get results for. So the first step is to complete an application for a private session below, and this application is necessary to determine, number 1, that I can help you and I'm the best person to help you generate those results. Number 2, that you're ready to step up, commit, take action and do the required work to generate the results. Once I receive your application, you'll be able to schedule a time to conduct your session, and this is where we'll really start to figure out what you want and how to make it happen in the fastest time possible. Then at the end of the call, you'll either be a good fit and I'll extend an invitation for you to work with me as one of my clients, or if not, that's totally okay as well, and there's no hard feelings or obligations or anything. Either way, you'll receive an insanely valuable session and walk away with newfound clarity as to where you are right now and what's holding you back from being your optimal, healthy self. That, together with the exact next steps necessary to take action and break through your barriers, it will likely be the most valuable 30 minutes that you invest in your business this year. So go ahead and complete your application now and we'll see if we're a good fit for working together. And right now, this opportunity is limited because of the intense one-on-one time needed in order to provide you with the results. And as I said before, I only work with clients who I know with certainty and conviction that I can get them the results we've discussed. So with that being said, please understand that this window of opportunity will not be available for long. Out of every 100 people that apply, I can generally only work with 5 clients at a time, and right now I'm looking to fill those spaces as quickly as possible. And what I've found is that those who have the ability to make decisions and act quickly are the most likely to get results and most likely to become my most successful clients. So if you feel like this is right for you, apply right now to see if you qualify, and then go ahead and follow the instructions on the next page.